Foreigners are invading your country. You also have the local militia trying to burn down your dojo. Now your aunt gets kidnapped by some thugs. What can you do? All you want to do is train your disciples at a martial arts school. But everywhere you go, people want to fight you. Let's see if Wong Fei Hung can overcome these adversities in Once Upon a Time in China. The movie opens with a group of spectators enjoying a lion dance performance aboard a ship. They marvel at the vibrant fireworks and creative presentation. On a neighboring vessel, foreigners mistakenly interpret the fireworks as an attack from the Chinese, and they retaliate with gunfire. During the madness, one of the dancers is knocked off balance. Wong Fei Hung steps in to complete the dance for him. The foreigners realize it was just fireworks. They capitulate on the attack. The captain then entrusts Wong Fei Hung with leadership of the Black Flag Army, and he is on a voyage to Vietnam. Handing him a fan with a cryptic message, he warns the increasing presence of foreigners in China and the relentless march of Western influence. Later, Fei Hung pays a visit to his grand-uncle's bird shop, where he meets 13th aunt and Joanna, who are avid photographers documenting China. Engaging in a photo shoot, Fei Hung and his uncle pose next to a bird. But a mishap with the photography equipment results in a bird catching fire unexpectedly. Reacting swiftly, Fei Hung moves his uncle out of the harm's way, preventing a potential disaster. 13th aunt blames the incident on using too much powder for the photograph. Before departing for England, Fei Hung's uncle entrusts him with the task of looking after Aunt 13. Fei Hung can't help but wonder if he's everyone's designated babysitter or not. Back at Pochi Lam Dojo, Fei Hung tends to a man who's been injured by a gunshot wound. It appears he mistakenly boarded a foreign ship amidst the influx of foreign vessels. Porky Wing, one of Fang's disciples, expresses frustration over foreigners infiltrating and exploiting their country, urging for resistance against the encroachment. However, Fei Hung advises him to remain calm and refrain from getting involved, assuring him that he will handle the situation with the authorities personally, recognizing the gravity of the situation as a matter of life and death. Afterward, Fei Hung and his companions attend a formal luncheon, where they meet with British Special Forces to address the incident. General Wickens of the British Forces and Mr. Jackson of the Sino-Pacific Corporation both agree not to pursue legal action against the injured man. It seems absurd that they can shoot someone and then decide not to press charges, doesn't it? The Chinese governor advises Fei Hung to let the matter rest and maintain peace. After all, Fei Hung is a civilian. What authority does he have to negotiate with them? However, Fei Hung argues that foreigners are encroaching on their territory and establishing prohibited zones, warning that failure to resist will result in them losing everything. Disregarding Fei Hung's concerns, the governor threatens to punish him and his company, as they're seen as rule breakers who refuse to comply. Amongst the elegant atmosphere of the luncheon, the tranquility is shattered by the sound of commotion outside, soon followed by clashes erupting both outdoors and within. Local militia members engage in combat with some of Fei Hung's men, disregarding his commands to cease fighting as he attempts to quell the chaos. Despite Fei Hung's efforts, the enraged combatants refuse to heed his plea and continue their brawl. In the midst of chaos, Buck Chief So inadvertently collides with a foreigner, inciting further violence. Despite the absurdity of the names, yes, those are indeed their names. His name is really Buck Chief So. The altercation escalates when the foreigner assaults Buck Chief, prompting Fei Hung to intervene. He demands an explanation from Buck Chief to relay to Mr. Jackson, but Mr. Jackson actually speaks Chinese, and he tells him that, "Hey Fei Hung, you better not interfere with our affairs, otherwise you will face dire consequences." As the confrontation subsides, the indignant foreigner persists in his desire to fight. Fortunately, the timely arrival of the police brings to an end to the altercation. Blaming Fei Hung for the disturbance, the authorities demand compensation for the damages and impose stricter regulations, requiring Fei Hung's group to report to City Hall henceforth. Back at the dojo, Fei Hung and his comrades gather for dinner, though the atmosphere is somber. Anxiety fills the air as they contemplate the repercussions awaiting them at City Hall. The uncertainty weighs heavily on some, dampening their appetites. But Fei Hung urges them not to dwell on what might come to pass. Instead, he encourages them to savor the moment and enjoy their meal together, acknowledging that it could potentially be their last shared repass. The following day, Fei Hung is dining at a restaurant when a group of Xiahou thugs enter, demanding protection money from the owner. Unable to meet their demands, the thugs threaten to strip the owner of everything he possesses. Fei Hung steps in to confront them, sparking a confrontation. Displaying his martial prowess, Fei Hung effortlessly defeats the thug, prompting one to flee onto the balcony. Without hesitation, Fei Hung follows, delivering a decisive kick to send that thug plummeting. While the thug is falling down, Fei Hung managed to summon his inner Mary Poppins and glides down smoothly. Determined to hold the thug accountable, Fei Hung plans to bring him to City Hall for extortion charges. However, despite this plea for witnesses, fear prevents anyone from assisting him. Upon returning home, Fei Hung is unaware that he's being trailed by the Xiahou thug. As he gathers with the remaining group, he contemplates the predicament of those held at City Hall, emphasizing that they won't be released until a witness comes forward. Despite capturing one of the thugs earlier, they were ultimately set free. Amidst the gloom, Wing mentions a potential witness named Foon. But before he can elaborate, Buck Chief So notices smoke emanating from the doorway. Suddenly, the door bursts open, unleashing a barrage of fire and flaming arrows from above. Wing is tasked with extinguishing the fires as Fei Hung rushes into battle, evading the incoming arrow. Using a tree branch as a shield, Fei Hung repels a fiery onslaught and intimidates the archers, causing them to flee on horseback. Returning to the dojo, the flames prove too intense to quell, prompting 13 Aunt to capture a photograph of the burning structure right before it succumbs completely. As morning breaks, the scene reveals the aftermath of destruction, with the once standing establishment now reduced to rubble. The governor arrives and accuses the owner of illicit activities and disregarding regulation, which has attracted retaliation from other criminals. He contends that the destruction of Pochi Lam is a consequence of the owner's own actions. However, Fei Hung refutes this, asserting that they refuse to cower before thugs and that establishing a dojo is entirely legal. Their argument is interrupted by the arrival of a passing priest who claims to have knowledge of the arsonist responsible for the fire and offers to serve as a witness. Finally, could this be a shining light on Fei Hung and company? Fei Hung receives an invitation from Mr. Jackson to attend a theater performance, and he accepts. Seated in a VIP section alongside 13 Aunt, who is also in disguise, General Wickens and Mr. Jackson sits adjacent. As the performers showcase their acrobatics and combat skills, the scene suddenly swifts when two actors break character and target Fei Hung and 13 Aunt. Fei Hung's quick reflexes save them from a deadly rope spear, revealing it was all just a setup. More assailants emerge, launching swords towards them, but they manage to evade the onslaught. During all the chaos, General Wickens orders his troops to intervene, resulting in casualties among both enemies and innocent bystanders. Fed up with the senseless violence, Fei Hung turns against the troops, only to be interrupted by fresh enemies. Now, the battle is even crazier. A foreigner attempts to shoot Fei Hung, but a priest intercepts the bullet. With the arrival of authorities, chaos ensues, and the blame falls once again on Fei Hung. Though the governor orders Fei Hung's arrest, Fei Hung requests to tend to the wounded first. Reluctantly agreeing, the governor warns that Fei Hung attempts to flee, he will be shot on sight. Now, Fei Hung just lost the only witness that they had. While tending to the injured villagers, Iron Vest Ying from Shandong arrives and challenges Fei Hung to a duel, defeating the city hall guards with ease. Yin forcefully enters the building, intent on establishing his own martial arts school by proving his superiority over Fei Hung. Reluctant to engage in conflict within the healing sanctuary, Fei Hung suggests they take the fight outside, mindful of his patient's safety. Amidst the downpour, Fei Hung and Yim engage in a fierce battle, prompting 13 On to intervene with a gun in an attempt to halt the violence. Undeterred, Yim seizes the dojo sign and shatters it, issuing a challenge for a genuine confrontation the following day instead. Disappointed by Fei Hung's initial reluctance to fight. As the situation escalates, the governor arrives, alerted by his guards, and this time Fei Hung finds himself incarcerated indefinitely. Now confined in jail, Fei Hung awaits his impending punishment. The guards enter, expressing admiration for him and acknowledging his innocence in the setup. The guards say, "Hey, we know you've been set up. They propose an escape plan, urging him to follow them to freedom. Initially hesitant, Fei Hung refuses, unwilling to defy China's laws and regulation. However, his resolve wavers when Bug Chief So arrives with the news of 13th Aunt has been captured. With urgency gripping him, Fei Hung swiftly agrees to escape in order to rescue 13th Aunt. Arriving at the enemy hideout, Fei Hung finds Yim waiting for him, perched atop of a table. The confrontation begins as Yim hurls a ladder at Fei Hung, cleverly evades it and launches his counterattack. Outmatching Yim in combat, Fei Hung faces a new challenge when Yim's henchmen arrive, armed and ready to shoot. Swiftly scaling the ladders, Fei Hung endeavors to reach the gunmen on the upper level, skillfully avoiding their gunfire. After dealing with some of the gunmen, Fei Hung finds himself momentarily trapped behind a pillar, taunted by the remaining assailants. Suddenly, two of his disciples appear, evening the odds and aiding Fei Hung in eliminating the gunmen. With the path cleared, Fei Hung instructs his disciples to rescue 13th Aunt while he confronts Yim. Positioned atop a precarious seesaw ladder, the adversaries prepare for their final showdown. Fei Hung's swift and precise strikes counter every move Yim attempts. Growing desperate, Yim resorts to dirty tactics, hurling ladders and using his hair as a weapon. Surprisingly, there's a spear tied to the end of it. Undeterred, Fei Hung flips over Yim, seizing the opportunity to rip off the spear from his hair, declaring that this confrontation is over. In pursuit of 13th Aunt, who is held captive aboard an American ship, Fei Hung encounters a barrage of gunfire from the American soldiers, skillfully evading the bullets. He ascends a ladder and strategically maneuvers himself onto the vessel. Upon boarding, Fei Hung swiftly neutralizes some of the gunmen and turns their own cannon against them, prompting many of the assailants to leap overboard. Descending to the lower deck, Fei Hung discovers not only 13th Aunt has been captured, but a multitude of other prisoners. Shockingly, he learns that the Shahao thugs have been collaborating with the Americans to traffic Chinese women as slaves to America. During a hail of bullets, Fei Hung continues to dispatch the henchmen. The situation takes a dramatic turn when the governor himself arrives, only to be apprehended by the American boss. With precision and determination, Fei Hung hurls a bullet at the American boss, freeing the governor from the captor's grasp. Now, even the governor is acknowledging Fei Hung and his company for being innocent. The film concludes with Fei Hung and his core disciples posing for a photograph alongside 13th Aunt beneath the sign of Pochi Lam Dojo. What's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a magnificent day. My name is Cow Showdown and I hope you liked the video. Let me know what you guys think about Once Upon a Time in China, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace!